Dexter Morgan has some secrets that might surprise you. Behind his calm and careful personality lies a world full of hidden truths that shaped his life and the lives of those closest to him. His actions and choices weren't just about his dark urges, they deeply affected everyone who got too close to him. We'll explore surprising facts about Dexter that will change how you see him. These secrets reveal not just who he really is, but how his double life hurt the people he cared about the most. Angel Batista was known as the heart of Miami Metro, someone who stood for justice and did what was right. He respected Dexter for his intelligence and skill, trusting him as a reliable co-worker. However, there were times when things didn't quite add up, like how Dexter solved crimes almost too easily, or his strange connections to certain cases. Instead of digging deeper, Batista either overlooked these moments or found ways to explain them away. It's unclear if Batista truly didn't see the truth or if he chose not to see it. Maybe, like others around Dexter, he sensed that discovering the full truth about him would only lead to chaos and heartbreak. In the end, people like Batista, whether knowingly or not, played a big part in helping Dexter keep his secret. By ignoring the signs or choosing silence, they allowed Dexter to continue his deadly double life. Their decisions, or their failure to act, made it possible for Dexter to keep doing what he did without being caught. Dexter had a very dark side, but Rita Bennett seemed to be Dexter's light in the darkness. At first, their relationship was more of a cover for Dexter's double life. Rita, a single mother with a traumatic past, wasn't likely to ask too many questions. She needed stability, and Dexter provided it, or at least pretended to. But as time went on, Dexter found himself genuinely caring for Rita and her two children. They gave him a glimpse of a life he never thought he could have: love, family, and a sense of belonging. Rita became Dexter's anchor, bringing out the humanity he didn't think he had. But his secret life always loomed in the background, a silent predator waiting to strike. That predator took the form of the Trinity Killer, one of Dexter's most cunning and dangerous foes. Trinity didn't just kill, it was personal. When Dexter returned home to find Rita's lifeless body in the bathtub, her death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a brutal reminder that his darkness could never coexist with love. In that moment, Dexter was utterly broken, stripped of the illusion that he could have a normal life. Rita's death was a turning point, not just for Dexter, but for the audience. It showed that no matter how much he tried to protect the people he loved, his darkness would always find a way to destroy them. If Rita was Dexter's light, Deborah Morgan was his anchor to reality. As his adoptive sister and closest confidant, Deborah loved Dexter unconditionally. She believed in him when he didn't believe in himself, standing by him through every twist and turn in his life. But even their bond wasn't strong enough to survive the truth. When Deborah discovered Dexter's secret, her world was shattered. At first, she tried to accept it, rationalizing his actions as a necessary evil. But the weight of that knowledge was too much. It broke her spirit, sending her into a spiral of guilt, anger, and confusion. Deborah's love for Dexter was strong, but it couldn't erase the horror of what he had done, or the realization that she had helped him cover it up. Deborah's death in Season 8 was one of the series' most heartbreaking moments. After being shot by one of Dexter's enemies, she was left in a coma. Knowing he was to blame for her fate, Dexter made the agonizing decision to pull her life support, letting her go in the only way he could. Her death wasn't just the loss of a sister, it was the loss of the last person who truly loved him, flaws and all. For Dexter, Deborah's death was the ultimate price of his darkness, a reminder that even the strongest bonds couldn't survive the life he led. The code Dexter's stepfather Harry gave him wasn't just a set of rules, it was a strict moral guideline designed to direct Dexter's urges toward those who deserved to die. The rules were simple but absolute. Only kill those who have taken innocent lives and always cover your tracks meticulously. It wasn't about redemption, it was about survival. For Harry, the code was a compromise, a way to protect his son while minimizing the inevitable damage he would cause. Despite the code's structure, it didn't make Dexter a hero. He wasn't some noble avenger or savior. He was still a predator, carefully selecting his prey to fit the narrow parameters of his father's teachings. The precision and meticulous planning that went into every kill weren't acts of compassion, they were acts of control. Dexter needed his rituals to keep his dark urges in check, but no matter how much he tried to convince himself otherwise, his actions were rooted in his need to kill, not in altruism. For Dexter, the code was both a gift and a curse. It gave him a way to exist in the world, but it also shackled him to his own darkness. The more he followed the code, the more he realized it couldn't solve the deeper problem. It couldn't change who he was. Underneath the rules, the rituals, and the careful facade, Dexter's darkness remained unyielding, always threatening to consume him. Although Maria LaGuerta, the ambitious captain of the Miami Metro Police Department, was one of Dexter's opponents. Unlike most of her colleagues, LaGuerta never accepted the official explanation for the Bay Harbor butcher case. While others were content to believe the story that framed Sergeant Dokes as the killer, LaGuerta's instincts told her something didn't add up. Her pursuit of the truth was relentless. Piece by piece, she unraveled the threads of Dexter's carefully constructed facade, inching closer to exposing him. But her determination became her downfall. In a chilling confrontation during the Season 7 finale, LaGuerta cornered Dexter and Deborah in a shipping container, pleading with Deborah to arrest her brother. What happened next was a moment of pure tragedy. Deborah, torn between her love for Dexter and her moral compass, made the unthinkable choice. She shot LaGuerta to protect Dexter, forever staining her own soul. LaGuerta's death was a turning point, showing just how deeply Dexter's darkness infected those around him. It was a stark reminder that no one who came too close to his secret emerged unscathed. Lumen Pierce was a rare exception in Dexter's world, a person who discovered his darkness and not only survived but embraced it, if only for a time. Introduced in Season 5, Lumen was a survivor of unimaginable trauma. She had been kidnapped, tortured, and left for dead by a group of men who tortured her. When Dexter found her, she was broken. What made Lumen unique was her reaction to Dexter's secret. Instead of fear or revulsion, she found solace in his darkness. She saw Dexter not as a monster, but as an ally, someone who could help her achieve justice, or at least vengeance, against the men who had hurt her. Together, they hunted down her tormentors, one by one, creating a partnership unlike anything Dexter had experienced before. For a brief moment, it seemed like Dexter's killing had a purpose beyond the code. With Lumen, he wasn't just feeding his dark passenger, he was helping someone heal. But their connection was destined to end. Once Lumen's need for revenge was satisfied, her darkness faded, and with it, her bond with Dexter. She chose to leave, recognizing that she couldn't remain in his world without becoming consumed by it. Lumen's departure was bittersweet. She was one of the few people who fully accepted Dexter, yet even she couldn't stay. Her story showed that while some could survive knowing Dexter's truth, they could never truly live alongside it. Among all the relationships in Dexter Morgan's life, none was as profound as his bond with his son, Harrison. Harrison represented something Dexter rarely experienced: pure, untainted love. For Dexter, Harrison was a symbol of redemption, a chance to be something other than the monster he believed himself to be. But with that love came an unbearable truth. His darkness was a constant threat to his son's safety. Dexter's relationship with Harrison was shaped by a deep sense of responsibility and fear. After Rita's tragic death, Dexter became Harrison's sole parent. He struggled to balance his role as a father with his secret life, knowing that every decision he made could impact Harrison. Despite his dark urges, Dexter genuinely wanted to protect his son and give him a chance at a normal life. Harrison was the one person who could make Dexter's world feel meaningful, yet he was also a constant reminder of what Dexter stood to lose. The ultimate turning point came after Deborah's death. Devastated and guilt-ridden, Dexter realized that his presence in Harrison's life would only bring more pain. His darkness had already consumed everyone else he cared about, and he couldn't allow Harrison to be next. In an act of selfless love, Dexter faked his own death and left Harrison in the care of Hannah McKay, someone he trusted to provide the stability he couldn't. Letting go of Harrison was the hardest decision Dexter ever made, but it was also the clearest expression of his love. By removing himself from Harrison's life, Dexter gave his son a chance at a future untainted by the darkness that defined his own. It was his final act of love and redemption. In the end, Dexter's story forces us to ask unsettling questions. Can someone so deeply flawed ever truly be redeemed? Or does his darkness forever overshadow the glimpses of light he tried to show? Dexter's legacy is as haunting as the man himself, a chilling reminder of the cost of living in shadows.